Hey BBYO, I'm Sophia Good from Rocky Mountain region, and today I'm hanging out with Jason and Randy Sklar, better known as the Sklar Brothers. These two are hilarious, talented, and yes, they're twins, which makes everything twice as funny. These guys have built their careers on podcasts, TV shows, and interviews. Fun fact, they're BBYO alumni, so we're super excited to have them back at International Convention to talk about their comedy, creativity, and life after AZA. Jason and Randy, welcome.
Thank you, Sophia. That was awesome.
Intro.
Oh my God.
I want you with us everywhere.
Yeah,
telling
can
people
you
who we are.
can you intro us wherever we go?
I want you to intro us at
Absolutely.
like a coffee shop.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
these guys are ordering
These are about to order their coffee, but first
hazelnut oat milk latte.
they have made their way in television and podcasting. All right, sorry.
I love it. No, I love it. Okay, we're going to start with a two-parter.
Yeah.
Right.
My first question is, how did you discover that working together as brothers would be your signature style? And because you work together so much, do you ever fight over creative ideas, or is it all just built in twin Wi-Fi?
Wow, there's a lot there. So to start, we started like doing comedy and whatnot, like around the time we started in BBYO, like AZA. Like I remember we
started BBYO in 8th grade. I think we jumped in early, and we sort of got involved, and it exposed us to older people. It connected us with there were people in our chapter in St. Louis who were seniors, juniors in high school. And so you couldn't have an 8th grade sense of humor around them. You almost had to level up your humor to connect with these kids. And I think that started us. And then we were big comedy fans. And then we did comedy for the first time.
But we
when we were
never
14.
sat around and said, okay, are we going to do this together? Should I go on stage? Should you go on stage? We were just like, oh, we love comedy. Let's do it. There was no even discussion of hey, this is interesting that we're both doing it. So it just kind of organically happened.
Which is the way the best things happen, is organically.
100%. I love that. That's so fun. And I love that it started in AZA. That's such a cool, origin story on
so we grew up in St. Louis where there were a nice amount of Jews, but not an enormous amount. And in our high school, there's maybe 25%, Jews in a big public high school in St. Louis. So we were always seeking out other avenues to meet Jewish kids. And BBYO USY, we went to Camp Ramah for a couple years in high school. And so all those things fulfilled all that stuff for
Every
us.
time we went to Mid-America region conventions, we always found kids from other cities who were funny like us, and we gravitated towards them. And then it was
how can we be funny in front of all these people at convention? Anytime you get up in front of everybody and you have a microphone, we're trying to be funny. So it really it stoked all those fires. Now to answer the second part of your question, do we have creative differences? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes one of us thinks something's funny and the other one's I don't know. But we always give each other the benefit of the doubt of let's try it. And then they're nervous if you're the one who brought it up, because if it doesn't work, the other one's going to be see? Told you. I told you that wasn't going to work. And so, yeah. But in comedy, wherever you are, we're writing on a show right now, Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson show. You have to be prepared if you're pitching a joke to the entire writer's room for it to just go down like a lead balloon, and it might not work, and you just have to be cool with that and move on. So there's a lot of part with it, let it go, and then if it works,
have the guts to put something out there, which is a great little lesson for everything in life, keeping it to yourself, or not taking a chance, or not taking an opportunity and trying if failure is an option. Really cuts you off. And so thankfully comedy in our lives has forced us to try things even
just
at
try
the risk
it. It
of
might not
failing.
work, it might get rejected, but whatever.
I love that so much. Okay, my next question is, who believed in you or opened a door for you early in your career, and how did that opportunity shape your journey? How do you think we can create more of those moments for young people?
I love that question
Great
so
question.
much.
Because there really, in comedy, there isn't a lot of mentorship in terms of there's no mentoring program where an older comic says, and we grew up in St. Louis where nobody in our family was in the entertainment industry. It's not like we had an Uncle Jeff who went out to LA or New York to make it as a comic, and he would tell us all the things. So we really were blazing the trail for ourselves. But we were in college at the University of Michigan. We worked on a committee to bring comedians to. So we just were we'll pick our favorite comedians to come to Michigan, come to Ann Arbor.
We'll open for them at the show that's for students, and we'll, just glean wisdom.
Pick their brain or whatever.
Yeah.
So we had a comedian that we love, this guy Andy Kindler. He's still doing it today. He's probably about 15 years, maybe 18 years older than us, okay? And he was one of our favorites. He came to Michigan, and we said, okay, we were seniors. We took him out afterwards for pancakes, like at midnight. And we're like, tell us what you think about our act. And just give us advice. What do you think? And he said, you guys are really funny. You should move to a coast. He said you should move to LA or New York. I'm in LA, but you should move to either one of those cities.
And you'll probably have to get rid of all of your material and start over again. Which, by the way,
is not saying you're great and just keep doing what you're doing. It's saying you guys are funny when we're hanging out. You're really funny, but you need to be around other comedians who are really good, who will push you to be better. And then when we were in New York,
and then he said, I think if you do that, there's a chance you could be on TV by the time you're 25. Now, I don't even know how much he meant that, but we were on our way to go to law school. Like, we had applied to law school. We were going to go to different law schools. And we came home from that night. We called our parents, and we're like, Andy says we don't have to go to law school. And
great call for your parents to
They were like, who the hell is Andy? And
what?
Also what? And we're like, we're going to defer law school for a year. We're going to move to New York City. Like, this is the whole plan we hatched, because we were just waiting for someone to tell us, give it a try. And we said, we'll defer law school. And once we deferred, we were like, we're never going. And we moved to New York, and it was hard and it was difficult, but he opened that door for us. And then in New York, he came to New York shortly thereafter, and he was doing a late night set on Conan O'Brien's show, and he was running around doing comedy sets. He's like, do you want to come with me as I prepare for this thing? We went out to Long Island, and he got us on stage for some shows in Long Island. Then he was downtown in the Village at a comedy club called the Boston Comedy Club, and we were outside waiting, hanging with him, and he said to the person outside, he said,
who books it?
Do you know who these guys are? And the guy was like, no, of course he didn't, because no one did. He's like, you should book them at your club. Apropos of nothing. And so the fact that he was that way to us, we try to be that way to younger comics when we can. We try to be helpful
all the way,
because it was a beautiful act of selflessness.
Yeah, and I think those opportunities are so important for young people to get that start. It's so hard to break through in your industry and find those openings too.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my next question is, comedy can be unpredictable. Mm-hmm. How do you handle material that doesn't land or projects that don't go as planned?
So what we do with material that is new is we try it. If it's not working, we try and retool it, and if we do it again, and if it's not working again, we usually try it a few times, because
there's a lot of autopsying that you do after something doesn't go well. You say, whose fault was that? Was that ours? Did we not set that up right? Did we not? Do we need to write better jokes, or was that the audience's, that audience just wasn't paying attention in that moment, or we weren't confident enough, or that didn't stand shoulder to shoulder with the other stuff? So you have to be willing to try it again and again to really get a very real sense in front of different audiences if it really doesn't work, or if it just didn't work that night for whatever reason. So it's a lot of trial and error, and there is a little bit of fear trying something that didn't work again, because you're something inside of you is I don't want it to sit out there and not work again, but you got to try it.
You got to try it. As far as projects go, because that's a great question too, you just have to assume that a project's not going to go, because it's just so hard to get something to go through. But
we'll tell you a very quick story. A friend of ours heard from somebody who was an executive that there's something called an aha moment in every pitch meeting. When you go into a television network or a streamer like Netflix or whatever, and you go to pitch a show, there's something called the aha moment. And we asked him, we said, what does that mean, the aha moment? When they hear your idea and they're like, aha, this is the idea, I see it. He's like, no, the aha moment is when an executive is listening to your pitch for a TV show and they realize that they have a legit reason why they can pass on your idea.
And say no.
Okay, so that's the groundwork for the industry we're in. So everyone's looking oh, we have a project like that already. And so they can tell you they love you and they love your idea, but they can give you a reason why they're not going to do it. And so if you understand that that's the baseline for everything you're going to do, then you have to assume that everything is going to fail. And so your attitude has to be I'm going to keep trying. If I believe in something so much, it only takes one place to believe with us. And acting acting is like 100 rejections for one yes. And if you can't deal with all that rejection, then it's not the right business
spot for you.
Yeah. Okay, my next question is, both of you have balanced big careers with family life. How do you manage staying connected with your personal lives while staying so busy professionally?
These are unbelievable questions.
My God.
Unbelievable questions.
These are so good.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard. You have to, in our opinion, because we love our families. I have 2 daughters that are now in college, so I'm an empty nester now, but I've raised them throughout this whole period of time that we've been doing this. You have to prioritize family, sometimes at the cost of certain things that you're doing. I mean, we should be out doing stand-up every night of the week, several spots a night, but that would mean that we wouldn't be around our kids. It wouldn't be around our families. We could go out on the road every weekend if we really wanted to. We could be in a new city every weekend all over the country making money.
50 weeks a year.
But that would take us away from important moments and being with our families, which is the most important thing. The most important thing. So we've sort of both of us have made the decision, and we both have to honor it, because now I have more time, so I could do it more, but he still has a 12-year-old and a 17-year-old who are still in the house, and I have to respect that because we're part of a comedy team. If he's like, I can't work these nights because we were just away this past weekend, I have to be like, okay, I understand that because I went through it myself. So family is number one. And if you ask us, they're number one. Then if you ask our family, our family's like, oh, these guys are gone all the time. It's like different perception of what it is. But it's super important that we are around for the important things for our families and certainly our kids. And
you're going to miss things from time to time, which is hard. I mean, I'm here at this convention and I'm so excited to be here. I'm missing my daughter's golf tournament that I love being at those things. So like, you do have to balance. You make certain choices and say, okay, I'm not going to miss these things. There's no way I can miss this, but there's no way I can miss this opportunity to do something special here. So it is a like full-on juggling act that you do. But I think if you care at all, and if you are trying to do the math on it at all, it shows that you actually care. And so
because there are those people who have families and then they're like, I don't care.
I'm just going to go take every job because I have to take every job. By the way, that's, you have to work, you have to pay for your life. But if you're really agonizing over what you can do and what you can't do, and you are saying no to a bunch of things, even if you say yes to also a bunch of things that will be conflicts with important things in your life, the fact that you're trying to weigh it out should be a sign to everyone that you care.
Yeah.
And I think it comes through. And I can attest that his children who he raised, who are now in college, are like wonderful people because he and his wife spent a lot of energy and time with them as they grew up. He wasn't absent.
I mean, I'm walking around this convention and I'm looking at all these awesome kids. I'm like, you guys have great parents. All these kids have great parents that have invested a lot of time in them because you can just tell. They're just incredible kids. I'm sure you've met them since you've been here.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, my last question is, for teens in BBYO who are drawn to creative fields like comedy or entertainment, or even who want to build meaningful careers in the Jewish community, what advice would you give those for turning those interests into a path forward?
So it's wonderful work, it's fulfilling work, but you have to understand it's going to be hard, and that's okay, and that's fine. I mean, you have to love it when it's not going well. That's my advice to you. If you truly love the creative process, even when things aren't happening, that means you love it. That means it's inside of you to do that. If you're like, I don't want to do that, it makes me too stressed out, I can't handle this, I don't have the internal drive.
If you're like, I want to buy Balenciaga shoes every Wednesday, then this field that we're in is not the field for you, because one person gets to do that, or 2 people out of 1,000. So if your desire is to have a bunch of nice things and a really comfortable, safe life, then this probably isn't the field for you. But if you're like, I can't help it, I love being creative, I love, I love being involved in Jewish life, or I love being connected to BBYO, maybe on a larger scale, like maybe people go through this program, it was influential to them and they want to be part of the machine later, or be part of like the higher end and planning programs, then that's wonderful. I think
you're not going to get a yacht. by doing that. But
what you get instead
is like tremendous fulfillment, like tremendous.
So there are plenty of people out there in this world. Take it from us on the other side, 35 years past all of you guys. 40 years? 35 years past all of you guys. We have had friends who have chosen to do very safe jobs and have made a lot of money and are still not happy. We have friends who have chosen to follow their passions and have had some up and down lives and maybe not made as much money but are super fulfilled. So
I thought you were going to say we have friends who have chosen very safe lives and make a lot of money and they're not happy. We have had other friends who tried creative lives and their lives are up and down and they're also not happy. So the message is people
you're never going to be happy.
happy.
So just understand.
Just kidding. No,
that's also part of being a Jew. No.
I'm kidding. That's not what we're saying.
No, what we are saying is that if you can find a way to make peace with either a less predictable life and maybe not necessarily like boatloads of money, then we would recommend following
the fulfillment of that creative, like scratching that creative itch.
It's priceless. It's like
enough.
Worth so much in your life, and and then also you have a long life, and you get to choose what you want to do whenever you want. Like you could be working in a finance office for 10 years and then one day get up and be like, nope, I'm going to lead hiking tours in Switzerland.
I'm going to write a book about this such and such.
Or you could start off as a comedian and after 10 years of banging your head against the wall and it being frustrating and not really advancing, then you could be like, you know what, I'm going to go back to school and be a teacher. There are a million
I'm going to go be a
pathways.
psychologist. I'm going to take this time. So
There are a million pathways you can take. No pathway is set in stone and you're set for life. Take a little pressure off the decision of what you want to do with your life. Take pressure off yourself. That's an important thing. I feel for kids. The world is putting a lot of pressure on children right now to like make their choices early. You don't have to have it figured out. And even if you think you have it figured out, it can change.
I love that. Well, thank you both for joining us. That is
Thank
all
you.
the time we have today. Thank you, BBYO. We are so proud to celebrate you both as amazing alumni who have had very successful careers. And thank you again for joining us.